All right, troops, welcome to the Action Leap. My name is Owen. Welcome, guys. J-Man, John, Charlie, and Stephen. How are you all doing?
Hello.
Amazing.
Yeah, excellent. Awesome. How are you feeling today, J-Man?
Garbage. I have an ice pack on, but I'm going to make it through. Yeah, yesterday was great. I was like, hey, we're on the road to recovery. And then today my back's just like being weird again. So the good news is that I'm not getting any calls back for my referrals, and nobody's giving me any meds. So it's perfect.
Well, that's great.
Good.
I don't take them anyways. It does nothing for me.
Except knock you out where you fall down. So yeah,
right.
That's great.
I only get the side effects. I never get the benefits of these meds. I only get the side effects. Oh, the side effects is this. This is like, oh yeah, nosebleeds, constipation. Yeah, got all that.
That's the same with me. It's like amoxicillin. Amoxicillin was like, may cause internal bleeding. Okay, that's all it gave me was internal bleeding, and put me in hospital for 4 days and nothing else.
Dick may fall off, shrivel, grow tits, all those other side effects.
I mean, the breast I wouldn't have a problem with.
Right?
Y'all asked for 80s for Kuroko. Yes. Yeah. So tonight's subject, we're discussing Rambo 3. So for all the three of you that are watching, actually 4 of you are watching. Wow, that's great. This is just a random thing I had just a couple of weeks ago because I was like, I just want to watch Rambo 3 because I got the 4K of the original trilogy a while back, and they're really good quality. Like if a lot of the time you're like, oh, why would I bother upgrading to 4K? But the Rambo movies are really worth the upgrade, and Rambo 3 looks and sounds fantastic. And I always feel that just people always dump on this movie. It was always cool to dump on, and because like what was happening at the time and everything, then the film wasn't a box office smash, but everybody disappeared there. Everyone good?
You were just kind of glitching, just a little there.
Yeah, we were good.
You're back.
You're good.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so yeah, because of like the political stuff and whatever, every stuff that was going on in Afghanistan and everything, it changed and people were complaining about it. But you know, as J-Man said, I'll let him bring that point up whenever he's talking about it.
Sure.
But I still love Rambo 3. I think, nothing bad will come from helping them. Yeah, exactly. Everything worked out all right in Afghanistan in the end. But,
hey, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Who could predict the future?
But the action in this movie is insane. Like that, just the finale was like real helicopters, real tanks, the explosion. Anytime I watch it, I'm like, God, you just don't get movies like this anymore, and and I miss it. And it's also got some of the funniest one-liners. I love the what's that? It's a blue light. What does it do? Blue. Turns blue. Blue. Okay. It's some simple humor, but it's my favorite. It's probably my favorite line in any of the Rambo movies. I just love it. But yeah, it was great fun, tons of action, great villain. I love Richard Crenna as Troutman. Thought he was great. And I just love how he's so shy at going in the mission by himself. I mean, literally, he arrives there and he gets captured. He doesn't even do anything. He's sort of like, well, you're Afghanistan and you're captured.
He's auto captured.
It's an intro to the video game. The colonel has been captured.
That's basically it. It was like nothing else. But I still thoroughly enjoy the movie anyway. And like the first 3 Rambo movies, I mean, I love Rambo 4, and even I'll enjoy Rambo 5 for what it is. But the Rambo trilogy, as it was back then, I loved all 3, and I thought they were fantastic movies. Like, I think First Blood is the best of the Rambo movies. It's the best film with the best story and characters and everything else, and it's more serious and whatever else. My favorite entry will always be Part 2. I love Part 2, but this Part 3 still has amazing action. You still got Jerry Goldsmith doing the score. And that Rambo theme, anytime he does something cool and the music comes on, you're just like, fuck yeah. He's just such a total hero. So also check out my awesome Rambo 2 t-shirt.
That is an awesome shirt.
Amazing.
Yeah. And John's got one as well.
I got it. Mine's simpler. It's
nice. Unlike Indiana
I've got
Jones,
Expendables, so I'm trying to be somewhat.
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing like shat the bed in terms of the good Rambo movies. There's not one like, oh my god, this is the worst film of all time. I was like, even the 5th one, I was like, no, it's still got some good kills. The dude gets his heart ripped out. There's not violence, and I was like, yeah, it's all right.
You're talking about there's no good bad guy deaths. That's a good bad guy death in Rambo 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stallone keeps it alive. Like Stallone, that's why he's like maybe the greatest action star ever. So he and Arnie.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Yeah, there's really, in terms of like as a movie for sheer entertainment, I don't have any issues with it at all. The sounds of the gunfire in it sound amazing as well, particularly on 4K. They sound really good. So that's what I'm going to say. And J-Man, I'm going to let you go first in case your back hurts or whatever else. So if you want to go now, go ahead.
I mean, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I thought all three Rambo. I like all four Rambo movies. 4 was the first one I saw in the theater, so I saw it like 3 times in the theater because I didn't get to see any of the other ones. I always like Rambo 3. I don't know. I thought it was awesome. I mean, I owned them all on VHS, and then I bought them all again, and bought them again, and whatever. I don't know. I didn't. There's a few movies where like I didn't get the memo on some of these, like Temple of Doom. Oh, I didn't like. No, nobody likes Temple of Doom. They don't. Oh, okay. It's like Rambo 3. Oh, that was trash. It was trash. What happened? Like my thing is, I like Rambo. Like I like I like not the movie. I mean, I like the movies. I mean, I like John Rambo. I like him.
The character.
He's just a simple guy, and he's I like what he's there, and he's like doing the stick fighting, and then Krennic comes in, and he's like, it's like, I saw the stick fighting. He's like, I just do it for extra money, and he goes, yeah, I saw you give it to the monkeys. Like, you see a lot. I like that. It's like you see a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's like I like where it's like I just want it to be done. I kind of wanted him to be done. I like where he's like, look, I like this place. I don't know what you think about it, but I like it.
My war's over. Yeah,
my war's over.
I fix wheels. I fix.
Yeah, wheels. I just want to like hang out here. I was thinking, you know what? I almost wish that they let him hang out there. Like I kind of like that. Just leave him alone. And then he's gonna go. I mean, look, this movie is awesome. I don't think it's cheesy awesome. I think it is. I think it's awesome. Yeah. Because like. The guy shows up and he's like, I got to go on this mission. So, okay, well, he's not getting it completed. He's getting captured. And then Clarence Bodiger comes back. I call him Clarence Bodiger. Some people call him Red from 70s.
Red Foreman.
Foreman, yeah.
Red Foreman, yeah.
Right. So, but anyways, he comes back and says, he's been captured. It's like, well, then can you get me in? I'm like, it is the video game, which is that video game was awesome, by the way, on Genesis. But yeah. I thought this movie was friggin' cool. Like the fights were good. There's like good deaths. There's like a lot of like the whole entire thing at the end is action. I like the infiltration parts where he's trying to like go through. It's like, there's the minefield. It's like, okay, I got to maneuver this and then go around this thing and like cut the fence. And, then the kid comes and he actually gives him the little jade Buddha or whatever from part 2. I kind of thought, you should keep that, but whatever. Don't give it to that kid. I was like, that kid's not going to be in part 4, Rambo. Don't give it to him. He's not coming back. I don't know. Rambo didn't see the future the way I saw it. I was like, I don't think this kid's coming back. But anyway,
you'll never.
There was. So we were talking before stream about the elephant in the room, the political stuff and the brave. We like to dedicate this to the brave people. Blah blah blah. Look, you can't go back in time and then try to reevaluate every movie you've seen. This is what these crazy people do now, is that they look at today's morals or sensibilities and they go back to 5,000 years ago and say, this caveman hit another caveman and that was bullshit. So cancel that entire caveman's bloodline now because of whatever. Like, I'm not going to go. So Canada, all of a sudden Canada, and I said like, I don't know, like Canada hates Japan or something because they made like better anime or whatever. And then all of a sudden Canada hates them. And now I can't watch Showdown Little Tokyo because I'm all pissed that, there's this whole Tokyo thing in here. Like, who cares? Like, I'm watching the movie to watch the movie. I don't care. Like, I didn't even know this. John can talk about the appearance when Stallone appeared on the talk show saying, it's already like this movie's already outdated, but before it even comes out, I'll let John tell that story. But I don't care. I didn't think about it then. I don't think about it now. I know it's in there. FK sent me a screenshot, about the ending screenshot. I don't care. This is what Stallone does. He had Vietnam. He had Burma. He inserts these things to give it some sort of realistic, and that's fine. Whatever. Like at that time, it was important to Stallone, so he put it in there. Who cares? The movie's got awesome action. Krennic getting captured immediately. It's like, dude, come on. I'm like, you train Rambo. I really wish that they didn't make fun of this movie in Hot Shots
No, I love
Because-
they did that.
No, because now when I watch Rambo 3, I think how silly it is. Like, oh, there's this big sculpture, and then he chipped away the piece. First of all, that is a disgusting lie. They took Rambo, brainwashed him into being a soldier, and turned him into a killing machine. And now he's backpedaling it. Well, you were always this killing machine. What? Baby Rambo came out and he was like a killer? Like, no
He had a
way.
little bow and arrow. He's like,
J-Man, he was born that way. Okay?
He's born that way. No way. As though it was like, I don't know. It's like
nurture. Are we getting nature versus
nature versus nurture? Yeah. Listen, you guys turned him into a killing machine. Stop it. But you know what? You didn't do a great job because you weren't that good yourself. So you're lucky Rambo was there. Anyways, I like all the stuff with Rambo. I like everything he says and does. He looks cool. He didn't have the aviator knife. He had that other knife, which is like, oh, it's not the Rambo knife, but whatever. It was a cool knife. It was still a cool knife. I don't really have any negatives. This movie's short. I mean, like it's 1 hour and 37, I think, something like that. It's under 100. He gets
142.
140. Okay, so 100 minutes. 100 minutes.
Right at.
He and with you take the credits off, and then it's like it's like 5 minutes less, right? I mean, it's in and out. The beginnings. I like the stick fighting part at the beginning, and then it's like immediately right into he's captured, and then he goes right to Afghanistan. And even him playing the game, picking up that sheep or whatever the hell it is and throwing it in a thing. Like, I mean, that's going to be in the Olympics sooner or later. I'm positive.
It's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time. But I liked all that. I like when they're sitting there and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna do this. We gotta do this mission." He's like, "Okay, yeah, we'll go in like a week." He's like, "Yeah, no, that's not happening. I'm going now." Yeah. It's like, "Well, then I'm going alone." Okay, see ya. And the guy's like, "Whoa, hold on a second. Let me do a speech here because before you go, let me have my little Oscar clip here."
It's a good speech. It is a good speech. I like listeing to that guy. I mean, he had a good
voice. He's good. He's good. Like so there you go. I like Born That Way, Lady Gaga. I was born that way. I think this movie's awesome. I didn't know it wasn't that good. And one last point is that in Sleepaway Camp Part 3, there's a character in Sleepaway Camp Part 3, and they're on the campfire, and they ask each character in the movie, "What is your favorite movie?" And he says, "I like movies that make America look good, like Rambo Part 3. So if it's good enough for that character who gets his arms ripped off by Angela Baker, then it's good enough for me.
Which is interesting because Part 1 was America looking bad. So
yeah,
that is true. Yeah,
you're not wrong about that at all.
That's the other thing with Part 1 too. A lot of the stuff went over my head when I saw that movie because I watched the commentary. That's a very informative audio commentary where they talk about like the Korean War and how Brian Dennehy's character would have been part of the Korean War.
Yeah, that's in the book, but not in the movie. That's mentioned.
Yeah, it is in the book.
Yeah. So they talk about that in, well, there's two commentaries. Actually, Morel, the author, does a commentary as well as whoever the filmmakers. And he mentions, it's like, oh, there's the whole Korean War thing, which like adds the tension. See, I would not have known that at all. Right. Like none of this stuff that would have been way over my head watching this as a kid. I just thought it was a cool movie. So anyways, there you go.
The cool thing, a point I wanted to make is just about the stick fight. It's just such a great character introduction because it's just the music comes on, you put the bandana on, and it's serious. And the thing is, when he's like, my war is over, and I was like, oh yeah, then why are you fighting with sticks? Because it's still inside him, and he still has to let that out. He's doing it for money. He's like, you're not doing it for money, you do it because you still like it, and it's in your blood. So yeah,
he's helping the monks. That's how
he's helping the monks.
Helping them,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, Stephen, sir.
So I look at this movie through two different lenses. I look at it just as a movie, and then I look at it as a First Blood movie. So as a movie, it's fine. It's got a ton of action. It's I guess it's the kid is not annoying. The sidekick is kind of cool. The villain is really good. There's literally like you can't get your breath from all the action. Just when you think the action's over, more action happens. It is literally like that nonstop action moniker does. Yeah, it's literally nonstop action. You're getting over one thing and then the next action scene hits and it's just like crazy. Like there's multiple, rescues and then like the, helicopters and shit. It's insane. As a First Blood movie, it's okay, but for me, it's actually the weakest of the 5, to be honest with you, as a First Blood movie. I find that I felt a lot watching this movie that there was a script written and someone looked at it and said, this could be a Rambo script. And then they inserted the Rambo character. It doesn't feel quite like Rambo to me. And that's because I wrote for the Action Elite, the American Dream versus the American Nightmare.
So it's Dusty Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes? No.
Cody Rhodes versus Dusty Rhodes. I don't know who would win. That's hard to say. But anyhow, and I really buy into the fact that, Rambo has been wronged. He's had the country turn its back on him. And I felt like that in part 2, he gets screwed over again. And at the end, he takes control. And even 4 and 5, like when he's in Burma in part 4, he's just like, you don't want to do this. You keep seeing him say, you don't want to do this. You don't want to, the missionaries, you're not going to win. You don't understand war. And part 5, the guy's living at home. He's still building freaking, tunnels underneath the thing. So he's still got that PTSD. This one feels like he's going on an adventure to save his friend. That's literally just what it feels like to me, and it doesn't quite feel like Rambo. The first part feels like it. When he's in the monster, he's like, my war's over. That feels like Rambo, and then it doesn't feel like Rambo to me anymore. It feels like a Stallone actioner. It is what it is. It's still enjoyable. I don't think it's crap. I don't agree with people saying it's crap. But for me, it is the weakest of the 5.
Wow, that's like slightly insane.
You will no longer be joining us for the rest.
No. I think it is Rambo, man. The thing is, his war, it's his, like, part 1. The only reason part 1 happens is because of his friend.
Right.
That's the only reason he will do whatever he's got to do for his friends. That's the point of it. And yeah. I think the only reason I think we never got to see a prequel. It'd be interesting. Oh no, stop it! Do not make a prequel.
Stop it, J-Man.
I apologize. No, but I get the feeling that Rambo only did anything because of that friendship with that group of guys. I think that. I think like he I don't want to say I think he's a caring person. And like the point of it is the friendship. Like he's like, yeah, I can't go with you because my war's over. That's it. And then Krenna goes in and Rambo's probably thinking, look, he's got a ton of guys. The government's behind him on this one. They're going on as his big mission. They're going to just do this quick thing and get it done. And the millisecond that the guy says, look, he's been captured, he doesn't even think, this might seem like a weak point, but in the story, but I don't think it's a weak point. I think it's a strong point that he immediately says, what about me? Get me in there. Like it's like, sorry, monks. So look, I like drops everything to go help his buddy out. I think that is Rambo. Like even in part 2, I think what happened was, see, even in part 5, they still had the family, like, it was a bit weak because you're like, well, who are these people? Like, that's
they're just kind of thrust upon us in 5. It's like, he has a family.
Oh, okay, sure. Like 4 is Rambo trying to not be himself, and
out of the world. He is
out of the world. Yeah. He's out, right? So that's 4 is the weirdest one in the sense that there is no family or friend connection. He just sort of is just having
this one basically. Almost.
I think by part 4, there's so much like built up, like just tension because he didn't have the stick fighting. He didn't have any other outlets to get rid of that rage in him or whatever, that the second there was a cause, he went for he
imprinted on her so hard.
Exactly.
It was never about love or sexual. She needs to be protected, and now she needs to be saved.
Yes,
so that's the driving force in part 4. Part 3 is, I need to go save my best friend because my government is turning their back on him like they did me and my guys back in Vietnam, and I'm not going to let that happen if I have anything to say about it. If it had been like, hey, we lost this guy, you don't know him, but he's trapped over there. Rambo had been like, okay, cool. He knew what he signed up for, but it was Krenna. It was his mentor, his father figure. I gotta go and get him out. And I'm the only one willing, not so much the only one that could, the only one willing to go do it.
Right.
So
he is the only one willing. They won't do it. It's Mission Impossible. They just basically disavowed him. It's like, well, that you're done. I understand what Steve is saying in the sense that like it's like okay, in a movie sense, they're like, we need an excuse to make Rambo 3. Well, why would he go to help the Afghanistan people against Russia? Well, yeah, why would he go? Okay, well, let's bring Krenna back. We'll say that Troutman is really into this cause, and then he gets captured, and then he saves them. So like I get this, like, oh, it's just the movie script. However, I believe that it would happen. So it's a convenient script, but I believe that it would happen in the way it happened.
So you're missing my point. It's not that he went on the mission. The mission is fine. It's how the mission plays out. He's got the kid there. I'm like, why is this kid there? Why would Rambo want this kid come along? This other guy comes along. I'm like, I don't believe any of this. Okay, I don't. I think Rambo will be like, I'm going to do it on my own, because that's how I felt he was in part 2. Let me do it on my own. I don't need these guys. I don't need this whole thing. And I felt very much like that was a movie thing. Like he's playing the sheep game. I'm like, why is Rambo doing this? He'd be like, let's go in, get Troutman, get out. There's nice parts, and I don't believe the nice parts at all.
No, I believe them. They're soldiers. He needs to make another connection. Part 2 is okay. Part 2 is great. Okay. Just go take pictures. There's not any person in the universe who's watching this movie thinks that this guy is going to go there with his smartphone and be like, oh yeah, shit, there they are. Click, click, and then drive his ass back and hand the smartphone over.
I got pictures. I got pictures.
And then he's like, I just caught the last 10 minutes of Dynasty. Thank God I made it back for this. Okay, so that's right. But the thing, that's not happening. So, and Rambo wasn't alone. He did have the girl there. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like in this one, there's more tactical reasoning for it because it's still a complex. We know as the viewer that Rambo's going to win because we know the movie we're watching. But to give it some sort of sense at all, there has to be like a regular moviegoer is gonna be like, well, he's going by himself. That's kind of like I don't know if they're trying to like downplay the one-man army aspect, even though he is a one-man army. Like the second he's there, he's the one-man army. The kid, why is the kid there? I mean, I understand why the kid's there, and we know now. We really know now why the kids are there. But in any case, without getting canceled on the stream here, it's to show that this is such an important thing that every single person is fighting this war. And I think Rambo wanted to make a connection. I think he was like, I'm there to rescue Troutman. These people are here. I feel like I want to connect to them in some way to just give myself even a little bit more motivation to do this and to and also the tactical part. Like he says, I need 2 guys. And then they say, we can't spare them. He's like, okay, I'll go alone. So he still does say, I'm going alone. And the kid tags along. Look, that's a movie thing. We know that. It's a script thing. Oh, the kid tags along. Yeah, whatever. But, you know, he did say he wanted to go alone. But at first he said, I need 2 men just to help me to navigate me or whatever, just to kind of guide me a little bit. And then I'm good on my own. And then he didn't get that. He's like, all right, F it. I'm just going on my own. That's the end of it. Part 4, he had no one to go with because they're all losers. So he had to go it alone. I mean, part 5, you're breaking the law and you're becoming a vigilante. Part 5's weird. You're like this vigilante now or something. It's just kind of weird. Whatever. But anyway, I don't know. I believe I like the nice parts. I like that. You know, he's trying to connect and, you know, why am I being positive?
I think I know what Steve's getting at is that by doing that, there is like fucking around with the sheep thing and whatever, and you're like, my friend is captured. Why are we screwing around with this? Where's the sense of urgency that we need to rescue him right now before he gets tortured and killed? So I think is that what you're getting at there?
That's what I'm getting at. You're right.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah,
It's just that at this point, I don't believe, like, he's been burned so many times. It's no longer the government, or it's the human race. He's got this pocket of people he still believes in. I agree with you to friends in that, because right off the bat, he's looking for his friend in First Blood. Right? He's looking for his friend, and then he's dead, and he's like, oh shit. I just don't believe at this point in time there would be the nice parts, especially with his friend. You're right, Owen. Behind, like, what's happening with this guy? Is he dead? Is he tortured? Is it all? There's no urgency, and it doesn't feel like Rambo to me when he's just like, oh, let me give the jade, necklace to this guy. I'm like, what's happening, guys? Like, this is why it started to not feel like Rambo to me. It's still a good movie. It's still a good action movie. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't feel like Rambo to me when that sort of thing was happening.
Yeah, the thing was, like, all the Rambo movies are different, though. I mean, I remember people complained when the second movie came out. They're like, "Oh, it's different because now he's this sort of hero and whatever." After being this really sort of mentally damaged guy in the first one, so he's kind of different in each of the movies. People don't like the sequels. A lot of people don't like the sequels, and they just like First Blood, and they think that's the best one, which is understandable, but they're wrong. But because, like I said, part 2 is my favorite. But yeah, no, like, it's different in all of them. So I kind of understand it, but I understand, like, what you're saying. I was thinking that, well, when I was like, why are they fucking around playing this game whenever this dude's getting like flamethrowers up his ass and whatever else they're doing there? I'd probably maybe get on that and go wait, but I know they had to wait till nightfall to go or whatever.
Wait, yeah. So I was just gonna say, I thought you guys finished. They had to wait. So, like, what are they gonna do while they're waiting? May as well join in and have a camaraderie with these guys, so that they don't remember. Stallone looks more like the people they're fighting than he looks like a friend. And I don't think, like, they have any trust in the American guys either. Like, this American guy came in, I'm this a big American badass, and he didn't do shit. Right? That's why they've got that guy saying, you don't look like you're a big warrior. You just look like you're some, like, guy here. Like, and it's funny to us because we're like, oh, did you see part 1 and 2?
Yeah.
It's funny to us, but it's to them, it's like, we've been fighting this war forever against these guys. And it, like, literally the kids are fighting it. And this American guy came in here, thought he was going to clean house. He got captured. Oh, okay. Here's American guy part 2. All right, whatever. Yeah, we'll go at nightfall, but we can't spare anybody. Right, that's their attitude. Stallone had to prove himself by keeping up with that game and doing good. And they're like, "Yo, this guy's pretty good. Like, we can trust this guy or whatever." I like that all 5 movies are different. It makes them exciting, because then I can say what I feel like watching. Because here's what happens when they're all the same. You're just like Friday 13th. I just watched part 6. You know what I mean? It's like I'll watch 4 or 6. If I watch Schlock, I'll watch 5. You just kind of pick the one that, Nightmare on Elm Street. What do you guys watch? Part 3 maybe, or 4? Like, you end up going, I'll just watch part 3 because that has a lot of cool Freddy stuff, a lot of cool deaths, and some of the fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, that's sort of like what ends up happening when they're all different. You have a different reason to watch each movie. You're like, what am I in the mood for? And I think Rambo's growing as a character, sort of. By part 3, they have to have some growth. He's got it, because, like, look, if there's either just part 1 or nothing, you could just be like, there's just part 1. He's insane. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, and that, as soon as he became a hero, you'd be like, well, how's this guy a hero? He terrorized a bunch of guys at a small town. Like, shouldn't he be, like, rotting forever? Like, I don't get it.
Well, that's the argument where he should have died at the end of part 1.
Correct. Yes.
Should have died. They filmed it.
They filmed it.
Except he never actually kills anybody in the first one, though. The guy who dies falls.
Falls
his
to
fault.
his death.
But
it's all about studio that was like, we got something here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to maybe keep this guy alive. Smart, and it's great for us. But for those that want the character, just don't watch the others and just to pretend he died at the end of part 1.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a stretch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, John and Charlie, who wants to?
What do we add to that?
We're stick fighting, John. Let's go.
Whoever's first. John, you go.
Okay. Wow. I was like, I've never thought about a lot of that stuff watching the Rambo movies. And I was like, I saw it in the theater when it opened up. I was there. I was like, but those are great points. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, damn, okay. I'm like, all right. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm with Owen. Well, I'm with J-Man, where you said like, I didn't know anybody dumped that. I have never had one person in my realm of action cinema fans or friends be like, you know what, Rambo 3 sucks. I've never had.
Who are these losers?
I know.
They're friends of ours.
Who are these people? And I'm like, it's just as. I mean, listen, it's bombastic. It's over the top, like number 2 was, in a different way. And again, it had all of its behind the scenes issues. Actually, Russell Mulcahy, who did Highlander, he was directing it for like 2 weeks, got canned. And there's a story that says because he picked models that were taller than Stallone, like when they were like, and he was like, that guy's too tall, that guy's too tall. Fired the director. Then Peter McDonald, the second unit director, was like, why don't you direct the movie now? It's like, so there's always a behind the scenes. It feels like we talk about Sylvester Stallone behind the scenes problems with a lot of his movies. Yeah. But in the end, this is a great action movie. And what I like about these movies is, like, whoever, I forgot who mentioned it, but Jamin, I think, said it. They're all different. The first was for himself. The second was for his country. Yeah. Now it's for his friend. And I love that because I know a lot of military guys. I've had military people in my family. I trained with military people when I was doing the martial arts. I mean, I still do, but like back in the day, these guys have this sense of code, this sense of honor, just like when again, somebody already brought this up, but as soon as he hears he's captured, he's like, what about, there's not even a thought. He's like, and Troutman was his commanding officer. He wasn't even one of his like guys that were next to him. Mm-hmm. So that tells you what kind of guy Troutman is, because Rambo will follow him into fire. So this is a pretty great guy, and he's a great cheerleader. This is some of the best lines in the movie. God would have mercy, he won't. I mean, that it's like, you know who you're fucking with. It's like
I'm your worst nightmare. I mean,
exactly.
So good.
And he only says those words to Zeiss and your worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's the only time he talks to him
in the whole movie. Yep, because he didn't need to. The cinematography, the scope, Sylvester Stallone. I think this is like his icing on the cake, because this is probably was supposed to be the last of the the movies until way into the future. He did Rambo 4, and I think of it as, I'm trying to put it into words because I'm thinking about what Steven had said, but I just didn't see any. I saw him, like his character, and if anything, they were trying to maybe humanize him, like trying to like, okay, yes, he's this killing machine. But he's not a mindless killing machine. Yes, he's damaged from war, but he still has a soul. It's still in there somewhere. So the boy was probably that aspect, and he wasn't even in the movie that much. I mean, it wasn't like he was all over the place or anything. They get shot, and it's like, all right, take off, and it's got martial arts action in it. I mean, it's probably one of the ones that could be considered a martial arts movie, because you have the stick fighting at the beginning. He fights the huge Russian. He's doing
roundhouses his ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he does a jump spinning back kick. I'm like, that is the sweetest move ever. And then I love how they have like similar scenes. Like in Rambo 2, it was in the jungle and he's coming out of the mud and the water and taking these guys. And then it's a cave. And it's like, oh, you can't see me now. And he's like in the shadows and he's got his bow and arrow. And it's like, this is just the coolest action franchise ever. People talk about Mission Impossible, but I'm like, nah, Rambo. It's like when I think about one of the coolest action franchises, it's John J. Rambo. And plus, I'm named after him. So that's pretty cool too. John McClane, John Rambo. So I love it. But I, like I said, like I never thought this movie, like I knew of the problems that it had. And then the story that J-Man we were talking before any of you guys came on. Stallone was on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. He was talking about Rambo 3 and what had happened with it. And 2 weeks or so before it came out, Russia started to leave Afghanistan. They started to pull out. So everybody that made this movie is like, oh. And then Bush at the time, like, I forget what he said to Johnny, but he was like, then Bush walks across and shake whoever the president was at that time, Gorbachev. He's like, and they shake hands. And it's like, oh, my movie's fucked.
No, they got scared because the movie, they saw the trailers like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's coming out. We better get our ass to Mars, because like as soon as this comes out, everyone's going to be really pissed.
But I never even thought about that when I went to see this movie. I was just like, Rambo's Okay, they're Russians. Okay, they could be North Koreans. They could be the Viet Cong. It's like, who cares? It's like, I'm sure
nameless country. Who
I'm
gives
sure
a
there's
shit?
foreign
Yeah.
countries that make movies where we're the bad guys, and we've seen it in the past. It's
Not
like,
bad.
yeah. So it's like, it's a movie. It's not like we're trying to he wasn't trying to make a political statement with this movie. No, I mean, yes, in a sense.
Well, he was at the end.
They were trying to bring light to Afghanistan and the perils and what these people had gone through and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's just an over-the-top bombastic action movie with a one-man army doing what he does best. And just the action, like the breakout scene when he first tries to get Troutman out, but he fails. That's one of the best firefights I've ever seen in a movie. It's just the way it's choreographed, how it's staged, how he's like he's leaning over corners shooting an AK-47 with one hand, and then he's got the kid on the shoulder and he's shooting with one hand. He's popping out of the water. He's coming up on a cliff shooting an arrow into a helicopter, blowing it up. He's the one scene where he gets on the anti-aircraft cannon. It's just like, how can you not be an action fan and not like this movie? So it just dumbfounds me when somebody is like, Rambo 3 sucks. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well then, what do
you don't like action then?
Yeah,
it's just talking points. This is what people do for anytime someone is positive or negative, it works both ways. They're just talking point lines. Or Rambo 3 sucks. Why? Well, it wasn't as good as what? Part 2. What was not as good as part 2 about it? It's like, have you seen the movie? Like, give me an example of a scene that you thought was trash in Rambo 3, and you could say the sheep running around the sheep, and then I'll say, why was that trash? I'll be like, I don't know. And then it's like nobody even if I don't agree with your opinion, I'd like to hear your opinion. Most people don't give an opinion. They give the talking point.
Yeah.
Like, this was bad. Okay. Why did you think it was bad? Like, I'll tell you why I thought it was bad or why I thought it was good. I get pushback on movies all the time, whether I think it's positive. Oh, Jay didn't like this movie because he hates everything. Okay. Well, I'm telling you why I didn't hate it. I gave you 17 reasons what I didn't like. Like, surely there's a movie that you don't like, right? Like, so it's like, but nobody can, like, Rambo 3, not anyone has given a reason for why it sucked ever. Like, even if they say, oh yeah, it was crap. Okay. Why was it, like, why did you think it was crap? Even if it's a thing I don't agree with.
Was it poorly made? Were the action scenes poorly done? Yeah. No. Was it well paced? Oh wait, yes, it was.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I was going to say, even if it's something that we don't agree with, like if you just say, oh, I thought that, like, I don't know, I thought that the stick fighting was terrible. I don't think that would happen. Okay. But they're not even giving you a point. They're just saying it's bad. Like, they're not actually saying anything at all as to why, even if it's a dumb point. Like, well, I didn't like
Steve's already made the point there. Whatever. Like Steve gave a valid point with his opinion.
Yeah, he gave a point that he believes
I didn't like it because it didn't feel like a Rambo movie because this, and you're like, okay, fair enough.
Right? Absolutely. Yes, I don't agree with that, but he gave his reason why. Yeah. Versus just saying this isn't a Rambo movie. Oh, why isn't it? Well, because it's just not a Rambo movie. Why? Because it doesn't feel like one. Why? Because it doesn't feel like it. Because it's not one. It sucks.
Yeah, okay, it's about feeling.
Well, the criticisms I heard throughout the years is because it's not realistic. Because he's, technically for the most part, he does things by himself. Although they come in at the end, all the rebels come in at the end and help him out, and he does have, Mossad. What's his name? Mossad. Was that his name? The guy that helps him. That he talks.
Sidekick. Yeah. That's the way for us to be.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I mean, that's probably one of the biggest arguments I've heard. But at the end of the day, it's an action movie. It's like it's okay to watch Schwarzenegger and Commando because he definitely is a one-man army in that movie. Because besides Ray Don Chong blowing up that police transport that he was to back up, there's nobody helping him in this movie. He's totally on his own.
I find that just the lack of realism hard to believe because if they don't step in, if Troutman doesn't step in First Blood, Rambo levels that town. He would have leveled that town.
Yes,
there would be he brings them back. He has that big epiphany at the end,
which I think is where they shot it. There would be no Hope BC. There would be nothing there. He would have leveled it. He would have killed everyone in that town. Like, so for me, he is a one-man army. There is no doubt about it. He is a one-man army. He is the elite of the elite. And
he is the action elite, you could say.
But that's the buy-in. not realistic that's like my number. Well, it's not my number one pet peeve.
Modern movies with CG aren't realistic.
Like, right. That's like, it's like my seventh pet peeve of this kind of thing. It's like, this is part 3. You saw part 1, right? Guess what? That wasn't realistic. There's this idea somehow that part 1, well, that was a bit more realistic. Oh yeah. Like he knows exactly where people are going to be so he can come out of the shadows and grab them.
Yeah.
Like what if that guy didn't walk by that tree?
Yeah.
Then Rambo would be sitting there. Fuck, is anyone coming by here so I can take them out? Like,
but he knew where they were going.
Like,
he set himself up in places like he knew they're coming.
Right, it's Friday the 13th. It's Jason. Rambo can't know where these people are going to be, but he can't because he's Rambo. There's a comic book law. I'll say this and then I'm done. There's a comic book law. It's called the Batman rule. And it's like it's an in joke between some of the comic fans. It's like, well, how can he do it? Because he's Batman. Yeah. That's the answer. It's like, well, wait a minute, but there's a werewolf or something. How did Batman? Because he's Batman. Like that's the answer. It's because he's Batman. And then if you don't like that, then I guess you're not reading Batman comics. I don't know what to tell you.
How is Batman fighting Godzilla? It's like because
he's Batman.
But it was like in The Dark Knight Rises, whenever everyone was like, "Oh, how did Bruce Wayne find a way off that out of the pit and get back with all stuff?"
He's Batman.
Because he's Batman, and he's a billionaire, and he has resources all over the world. So
and he's smart as hell.
Because he's Batman. That's because it's fantasy. End of the day, it's not all of this is fantasy. Yeah. This is fantasy as well. Rambo, lights himself on fire.
The cauterize wound.
Yeah. That was awesome.
I've done that a few times.
I've put a splinter out that big before. It fucking hurts. So,
and here's the last thing I'll say, and then Charlie, you can go. Again, I trained with a lot of military guys, and they told me stories about guys in situations. Now, again, it wasn't as elaborate as a whole movie where like he goes to a different country, like lays waste to it. But they told me stories, or they saw it personally with their own eyes, where one guy, like his platoon's pinned down, and he just literally like went off and like saved everybody. I heard stories, so it's happened to a point in real life, not to the extent as Rambo movies, but that's Hollywood for you. But I mean, so in that respect too, you can make that as an argument too. And he does get help throughout these movies, so it's not like he's totally honest, like you guys mentioned before. And but at the end of the day, and then Charlie, you can go on. This is one of the greatest action franchise. He's one of the greatest action heroes of screen cinema. It's I
agree with that.
And Rocky Balboa is one of the greatest sports drama characters of all time. He created 2 of the greatest characters in drama and in action. So it's like
you can say Rambo's name. And like Rambo means action, like he's referenced by
everybody knows.
Who the fuck do you think you are, Rambo? Like there you go.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people will say they know John McClane as well, but no, Rambo is like the one-man army with a big fucking gun, going to blow stuff up. He's like, that's who he is. That's what he does.
His image pops in everyone's head when you say it. Your shirt, John's shirt. That's what pops in their heads. All you have to do is say Rambo. Boom, red bandana, big ass gun, muscles.
And there's people that have not seen these movies at all, 1 minute of them, and they know who Rambo is, and they know all about him. So
it's Godzilla, the most famous. There's a few Godzilla, James Bond. It's like there's just these certain names that you don't have to watch the movies, right? It's like, oh yeah, Godzilla, big giant monster. That like automatic, right? Like King Kong, Godzilla, automatic. Oh yeah, giant monster. It's like, did you watch Godzilla movies? No, but you know what it is. Well, James Bond. Oh yeah, spy, super spy, big.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
You can even say Jason in the Friday. Everybody knows who Jason is.
Michael Myers, Freddy, they're icons.
Sky or whatever.
So he created 2 of the biggest.
That is crazy. They both start with R. They're both 2 syllables, and they both have more than 5 movies. That's great. And they both came back after a long hiatus, and the comeback movie was just as awesome as Rocky 6 and Rambo 4. You're like, how is Stallone doing this? He's coming back after all these years, and the movie he made is as good as the first one that he made.
The ending of Rambo 4 is a chef's kiss. You're just like it's
awesome.
happening, and you're like literally. I remember the first time sitting in the cinema watching this. I'm like, I was laughing in a good way. I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at right now? It's like the truck comes by and he turns around. He's like, da, 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 and it's like these guys are getting turned into
just exploding,
cheese.
just
like,
heads exploding everywhere.
It's the greatest thing. Oh my god! I mean, again, it's like it talks about me as a person, but it's like I'm normal. I've never done this in real life. But
look, it's worse than Terrifier. Stop. You know what, John? You're pissing me off right now. Oh, I can't watch Terrifier. Rambo 4 is worse than Terrifier any day of the week.
The gore in Terrifier is. I was like, whatever. I was just like, I couldn't get into the character.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
I've seen Faces of Death, and I'm just like,
half that movie is made up anyway.
That
was the most overhyped trash thing of my existence. I was waiting for that movie. I was like, I can't wait to watch this. It's like all nonsense. It's terrible. What a disgrace. That's the most disappointed I've ever been in my entire life watching that movie. Anyways.
And then Rambo Last Blood. I love that movie in a different way. I mean, I know a lot of you guys don't like or have like say, like it's your least favorite. And it probably is my least favorite too, but I wrote it in my review. I mean, it's like nobody wants to see their heroes get old. And that's basically what happened. He's in his 70s now. So that's a big part of that movie. And I'm just going to lay it there. We could talk about that some other time. So, Charlie, you can give us your thoughts on all that.
Exactly.
Rambo happened, yeah.
Just before you go on, Charlie, where Jimmy mentioned as well, and Real Popcorn Geek both mentioned about Valverde, and I thought they should have done one, and they did like an Expendables type movie. Valverde, you have John Matrix and Rambo having to go in. So I was like, they could have done that in the 90s when both of the actors, Arnie and Schwarzenegger, were sort of realizing that the action hero maybe wasn't quite as big a draw as it was in like the late 80s, early 90s, or whatever, and things were starting to dry up. And I thought, if you had John Matrix, John Rambo on screen for a movie, having to go kick ass, and then maybe somebody else shows up, I don't know who else, like Michael Dudikoff or Van Damme, or whatever, just all these guys show up, that could have been fucking awesome.
Put the ninja in there. That's right.
Yeah.
Put the ninja in there.
Have a whole bunch of ninjas or something, and then you just have them just being
they should have done the Contra movie. Like
the Contra movie. Yeah, there you go. 90 minutes long, rated R. There you go. 100 million.
Yep.
All right, Charlie. It's been
it's your time now.
It's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Now you can go.
No, it's fine, man. John kind of started like how I was. Like, you guys have dug in the deepest way I've ever heard
like
anyone
shovels,
talk.
man.
I know. I'm just like,
hey, the action elite, not the action average.
That's
right. Because
I'm thinking to myself, I think I'm the action average because I didn't get that cerebral about it. That's for
no, man.
This is what I do. I overanalyze everything. It takes me 5 years to order a new phone.
And
Listen, here's the last thing, Charlie. I swear to God.
Oh, you're fine. Go, John. Go.
I am a weapons man too, and Rambo uses an AK-47 with an M203 attached to it, and I thought that was the coolest fucking thing ever. So it's like that's how
awesome.
pathetic I am. So
you give him a grenade launcher, he's unstoppable. Look, there's only like one major thing to whether or not this movie is awesome or not. Rambo plays chicken with a goddamn helicopter while inside of a tank and takes out a fucking helicopter. Okay? That if you just told me that before I'd ever watched this movie, I'd be like, this is the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, 5 stars.
I'm in. Right. Game over. Look, I was like 14 when my dad first showed me the Rambo movies. I watched Rambo 2 first, then Rambo 3. And it was the greatest fucking things I've ever seen in my entire life. Dad was smart, though. He waited till I was a little bit older for First Blood because that's just no kid is going to sit through First Blood. They're going to get bored. As an adult, it is the superior movie. Part 2 is the definitive Rambo. Part 3 is quite possibly the greatest fucking action movie ever made, period. And it may even edge out Part 2 ever so slightly for me just because of the sheer amount of action. This is the most like absolute chiseled god version of Stallone.
It's relentless.
He is tanned. He is baby oiled. It starts with a goddamn stick fight. The greatest. When I was a kid, I would rewind it and watch the stick fight again.
100%.
So awesome.
The late great Harold Diamond.
Yeah. The fact that they parodied all that in Hot Shots Part 2 is why I love Hot Shots Part 2 so much. I fucking love.
Now that's a hell of a gun.
Sprinkles, gummy bears. Sprinkles, gummy bears. Just that whole segment. This movie is just nonstop, man. It is like sheer, utter test. Like if you ever see those commercials for low T and you're like, you should take this. You should just be like, watch fucking Rambo 3.
That's what I'm always saying. Like, watch some fucking action movies. It's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. I literally just got done watching this and I was yelling at my TV again. I was so excited. I've seen this movie countless.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen Part 3. This is just pure joy for me when I watch this. You know, the entire assault thing. Like I'm waiting. He does have more baby oil than Diddy. Diddy called him for extra. Tell him, Johnny. But it's like I'm waiting for the talky parts to get over with in this movie. I'm like, okay, yep, somebody go help Rambo. All the Russians are attacking the fucking compound. Let's fucking go. Get in an anti-aircraft fucking gun. Blow the shit out of people. I like the covert, Metal Gear Solid, get into the whole encampment thing. It's cool as shit. I like going through all that, but I'm just ready for them to get into fucking fights. When he takes that shrapnel in his side, my God, the prosthetic people that did that makes me fucking
awesome.
feel. He's got his thumb in his back, pushing the stick out, and then dumping the gunpowder. That's my dad's favorite part because that was the part where he's like, "I really need you to watch this scene. Like really watch this.
Son. This could happen.
It's very important. This could save your life one day."
Sometimes, son.
And just and seeing the flame come out both sides.
Yeah,
of his
that
body.
was awesome.
Your dad's like, "Hey, Charlie, next time you get a hangnail and you start crying, watch this scene."
Dude, I'm telling you, this one gave a little bit of levity to Rambo that I had never heard before watching the others. Like he's cracking one-liners. I love when him and Krenna are standing out in the desert, a gun in each of their hands, the entire Russian army in front of them. And he's like, "What do you think we should do, John?" And he looks around for me and he goes, "Surrounding them's out." Hell of a time for humor, John. I was like,
yeah, that's the best.
Hey, remember when you taught us how to ignore pain? Yeah, how's that working? Awesome. It's not.
Yeah.
Take it personal,
not really.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. I love everything about this. This is like peak Rambo. I saw someone mention the cartoon. I love the cartoon.
Of course.
Somebody needs to release that though. They're right.
No shit. I think
DVD
you can,
or Blu-ray.
I think you can watch them on YouTube still, but
you can. Yeah.
Like I have those action figures. I've got a helicopter that Rambo's sticking out the top of it like a goddamn Cobra Fang. Like he's that big inside the little helicopter. But there's nothing more American than Rambo if we want to get into that. It's like, why did John and Charlie not get all deep and cerebral about this? Because America. Fuck yeah! That's all it is. I need some eagle screams, J-Man. We need to work on that for these movies. Like it's just pure, unadulterated fun. And okay, there may be some issues about it. It was made in 1988. Get the fuck over it. Russia was bad at that point. We hated Russia.
And they're great now.
Yeah, kinda. Are they? Are we really still having this conversation? Yeah, Valverde's the safe play. That's still Central fucking America. Are we really want to piss off everyone else around there? I don't know, man. I love this movie. It can do no wrong. I find no fault with it. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I can watch it at any point. I'm going to get the 4Ks. I was like, I got the Blu-ray. No, I don't. I got the DVD, the survival mode.
DVD
that has the crosshair that moves around, which is still probably one of my favorite menu screen animations for that entire series. So now I can go, it's time for me to upgrade. I think I'm going to go get the 4Ks. Like
they're all separate. It's.
Waiting for a set. I'm surprised they haven't done one, but
there's one one from France, and I don't know if it's region locked, but Amazon had the Steelbook, all of them on 4K in a Steelbook. But
4K is region free, so it won't be region locked.
So okay, that might be the way I go then.
The thing is, I want the one like I have Last Blood on 4K, but I want the proper extended version with the extra 10 minutes, which I think is in Australia and German, where they have like the mountain rescue scene during the storm at the opening scene and all that. And I was like, because I feel like I'm not watching the full movie.
I hate when I find out there's shit cut. Like, come on, don't even tell me that stuff. And it's like, I love part 4. Me and my boys, not my boys, but my bros up in Ohio, we all went, and me and my buddy Dan got there first. Well, here comes Mark, Cody, and Nate with fucking mullets and red bandanas on their heads. All of us sitting in the theater, laughing our asses off as people got up and left during the Burma, that first like assault on that village. They're throwing like kids in the fire and shit.
And you're like, yes.
You're like, bring it on. Where's the
maybe
USA?
Definitely by the end we were cheering, but it was like it was great. It was like, yeah, J-Man, like me, I was the first time I ever got to see it in the theater, to see a Rambo movie, and it was fantastic. Last Blood just is good. It's not really John Rambo. It's John Rambo, family man. Part 1 is he's dealing with his PTSD. Part 2 is he goes back for redemption against Vietnam. Part 3, he goes and saves his best friend, his mentor, his father figure. Part 4, he saves his soul. He saves those people to save his soul. Part 5, he goes and protects his family. That's kind of the lineage of Rambo to me. It's just, if you want to break it out like that. Steve, you're not wrong on any point you said. Yeah, you're going to get some pushback because we love this movie so much, and you love it. It's still a great movie.
Yep.
I just, honestly, I have never thought so philosophically about Rambo.
Yeah, I never think about them when I'm watching them. I just
don't.
Enjoy it. But we haven't mentioned the best scene of the film is the fight scene with the goon towards the end, where he fucking hangs him with the grenade, and then he falls down the pit, and his head explodes. That's like
that's
one of the best kills of all time.
Yeah, that's when he does the kick.
He does the kick. But he sets it up so perfectly because that guy, because he's killing people in that cave with multiple different arrows, like regular and explosive. That guy pulls his other guy in front of him thinking it's a regular arrow, and it's an explosive one. So you're thinking like back at part 2 when that one dude goes gone, but they show that hand crawl, and it's like, oh, he's still alive. He gets fought with Rambo, gets an upper hand, pulls that goddamn grenade pin, wraps the rope around his thing, jump kicks him. The guy breaks his neck first and then explodes. Like that's like the greatest villain kill. Yeah, it is. It's pure poetic. It's that cave scene is just. That cave scene's amazing in this movie. The entire thing.
It is. It's one of the best. Aside from all the big bombastic scenes, that scene.
It's like, why did he want all the blue lights? Now he knew he was getting in a cave.
Look, motherfuckers, he's turned blue.
I love that shit, man. I fired a few shots. It's so fucking good. I had never had anything negative about this one. I'm so glad this was like we had Friday nights. Mom would go to her quilt guild thing. She'd usually take my younger sister. It was guys' night, my dad would call it. We'd have cast iron pizzas, in a big ass cast iron pan.
Oh wow.
Any meat in the house, put it on the fucking pizza. It was the greasiest fucking thing you could ever eat. And it was, I got a pan, Dad got a pan. He'd go rent these movies in those little brown cases, Rambo 2, Rambo 3. We would watch Rambo movies that night till Mom came home. And it was just like, that is the purest, nostalgia for me right there. And I can sit here now and watch these movies and just be 14 again, just going, this is the greatest fucking movie I have ever seen in my entire life. Give me more. And I don't get them anymore.
And you know what? These movies are therapy because all the shit that's happened with me throughout the last couple of years, my neurological disorder. This, watching it, I watched Rambo 3 for this, and I'm transported back when I was, and I feel better when I'm done watching.
Before everything hurt.
Yeah.
It's a serotonin boost whenever you watch this. Literally, I made the joke about it being low T. If you're feeling lethargic and not manly enough, fucking watch Rambo. Okay, he's so manly he can't die. That's how manly Rambo is. It's so good. I'm done now.
Actually, Adam brings up a good point. He says I'm like that with Con Air. Yeah, Con Air is actually one of my top films of all time. we've never discussed Con Air because I don't want to hear anybody say anything negative about it. it's like
Steve, you're not invited.
I'm getting that impression.
But because I saw that in the cinema 5 times. Fuck it. We'll do
Oh
Con
my
Air.
God.
So
I
couldn't
saw
do
this-
6? Huh? Couldn't do 6, eh?
No.
Sounds like someone's not a fan of Con Air. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm
He's
hearing.
like, I have no more allowance. I can't go anymore.
Yeah, it
that
was like-
preview played, and my dad looks at me and he goes, "I want to see that on the biggest fucking screen we
Yeah.
can find." We went to the
best teaser
drive-in
trailer
and
of all
watched
time.
it.
The teaser trailer is the fucking
Yeah.
best. It's
Oh, I love
unfortunately,
it.
He just got on the wrong playing to that fucking theme tune because I'm like,
The music. It's
best
the
music score, like,
too.
of all time.
Con Air
Oh.
is so fucking good.
okay, fuck it. We're going to talk Con Air. So next week we're doing Mark for Death. The week after we'll do Commando because we never talked Commando. I can't believe we haven't. And then the week after we'll do Con Air. Okay.
Commando's going to be like
Con Air's-
Rambo 3.
When's
We're
that
just gonna
coming
be
out on 4K?
I don't know.
Con Air, I
Um,
think it's this year at
It
least. But
it got announced.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's got a release date yet. It's just got that teaser thing that popped up saying it's coming.
I saw Owen's post when it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's like-
yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, we were all hyped. For
oh
that.
my
Oh, yeah,
god! I
actually-
was just like,
And there's no date for it coming out yet, but Charlie's right when you say kids wouldn't like First Blood. I just liked it as a kid because I watched first two first. I was expecting action wall to wall, but more for drama. I appreciate it now. As an, yes, exactly
that's-
right.
That's
I
exactly it.
yeah.
I was the same. Like I never really appreciated First Blood truly until literally like a few years ago when I watched it again. And I was like,
Same.
I never really realized what a great movie this was. Watching it as an adult, it's a movie for grown-ups, whereas the other Rambo movies can be like for teenagers, basically, because that's what we were watching it. But yeah. Also, Commando turns 40 this year. Oh, there we are.
There you go.
Hey.
Perfect. We got
See, we
it.
were
We never
waiting.
need an
We saved
excuse,
it.
but
We
we've
saved
got
it.
one.
Well,
Exactly.
next week's villain death can rival this villain death. That's for sure.
Yeah.
As long as there's not triplets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so next week is Marked for Death. I can't wait to talk about that because I watched it last night. And I don't want to say anything. We're not going to get any. But because I
Charlie,
always
shut
find.
the fuck up. Okay.
Yeah, you shut your whore mouth. But yeah, I find whenever we do Seagal, everyone seems to show up for that one because Seagal always gets the peeps talking. So yeah, so we'll do that one next week, and then the week after we'll do Commando, which we probably don't even need to watch for. And I'm going to give the director's cut another watch.
Oh god, yeah.
That's the one I've got. Yep.
Yeah, because it's region-free Blu-ray from the UK. So I'll watch that. Yeah, so we got ourselves a plan.
I
love a
think
plan.
for next week to honor Seagal, we should all do the stream while sitting down.
And fight well, and then try running like.
No, my stunt double will be there. I'll never stunt double it.
Everybody
So,
go on YouTube and watch his energy drink video. Okay.
Oh my
Your
God.
life will be so much
I'll have
better.
that. I'll have that GIF for you. I
Thank
was
you.
watching a YouTube channel and they were talking about Marked for Death, and they're like, he runs. The guy's like, he runs like someone pushed a 4-year-old down a hill, and then so you're like, "Wah!" like it's like you're going to. It's like you're going to. No, but first I want to say something about First Blood. So First Blood, I also saw 2 and 3 a bunch of times. When I did see First Blood when I was younger, and I did like it a lot. And my buddy of over 40 years or whatever, he had never seen any of the Rambo movies, which is crazy. And I was like, well, why don't he was like, I don't. He doesn't care about like war action stuff. He's just like, it's like, no. I said, well, you should watch First Blood because I have a feeling that you don't really know what that movie is. I think you think First Blood is what Rambo 2 is.
Mhm.
And then he watched First Blood and he loved it. He's like, wow, this is so good. I was like, yeah. And I yeah, it's for adults, sure, of course, because that's what it is. But then Rambo 2 and 3
being a drama. Like it's this
It's a
close to being
drama,
like
yeah.
Yeah, the first one's
Rocky.
more a drama, whereas
Yeah.
the second one was really the creation of the action hero. I mean, Rambo was like was the
That's why I'm like
stereotype of the action hero.
that's like the premier start of this is what Rambo is about.
right.
That's part 2.
Well,
Well,
part 2 is showing you what Rambo would have been like in Vietnam
Mhm.
had there been that's why you don't really need a prequel. Like you saw what it would have been. It just would have been, how many people were on the team? I forgot. There was like 6 of them or something. It would just be 6
Like,
Rambos.
Not
right?
everything needs to be explained with like lots of backstory or whatever. Like we know what happened there. I don't need to see a prequel. Like prequels usually suck.
Yeah, you saw the prequel. Like part 2 is what it would have been. There just would have been 6 Rambos or whatever, however many guys were on that.
Righting the wrongs that happened to him, basically. Yeah, was the thing.
I remember when Missing in Action. That was weird. I remember like
those are even released out of order. Like
I know.
Part 1 is part 2. Part 2 is part 1.
Yeah,
and then Braddock is the actual 3. And when you try to watch it in any order, like I love the Missing in Actions, but we did them not too long ago, and even I'm like, wow, I don't remember them being this like fucking disjointed, and
it's brutal. Part 3 is the best.
Yeah, part 3 is great.
Yeah,
we'll do a stream on the 3 of them at some point as well. So
he's got
probably knock all 3 out in one. Yeah,
he's got the best weapon in 3 too.
He also survives jumping on the guys while holding 2 grenades. I mean, that's just a Chuck Norrisism, right there. You know, he didn't blow up; everyone else did.
The grenades didn't blow up; he did.
The grenades jumped on top of him to absorb the explosion. Right. That is Chuck Norris.
Well, also, I would to say, like, First Blood was directed by Ted Kotcheff, who did one of the most underestimated action movies, Uncommon Valor. I love that movie.
That was a great
movie. Reb Brown, fucking
not
Gene
just
Hackman.
that,
Yeah, Lord Gene of Hackman, isn't it? What? Maybe my favorite actor of all time. So,
it's a smart man's action movie, is what it is.
Yeah. Tex Cobb or something like that.
Yeah, Tex Cobb.
Tex Cobb.
There's Patrick Swayze in it as well.
Ken Thomerson,
who's very young Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
And a young Patrick Swayze.
We'll talk about that too. Right, we got all kinds of good stuff coming up then.
I love it.
Well,
dude,
I like how this series kept losing. Like, it's like First Blood. You're like, okay, that's pretty. And then it's like Rambo, First Blood Part 2, and then it's like, Rambo 3, whatever.
Rambo 3, whatever. It's like
we're gonna keep it short.
Part 3, 2, 1.
It keeps sounding weird when it's Part 3, First Blood. Like, we've already had First Blood.
Yeah, Third Blood or whatever, and like Fourth Blood. And
it's so strange. Like the first one was First Blood. The second one should have just been Rambo Part 2 or
just Rambo.
But there's no Rambo Part 1 though. That's
See,
but the thing is, this is like I know what you did last summer, and then it was I still know what you did, but it was 2 summers ago, so it should have been I still know what you did the summer before last.
I still know what you did 2 years ago.
I think they're truly worried it was going to end up like,
the
Mad Max.
I still can't believe what
you did last summer.
I can't believe 3 summers ago. That was insane. And I
can't believe it's not butter. What? I don't know.
Yeah.
It froze on us.
Oh, and you're frozen. Oh no! It looks like you're gonna sneeze.
It does look like
you're frozen in the sneeze.
There he goes.
Oh, you're back. Owen's back. Are you back?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's moving.
Oh,
don't pick your nose. Don't pick your nose.
Oh, he's in slow motion.
Am I moving?
Yes, you're moving.
There you go. Okay, you're back. That was weird.
I'm just checking. Yeah, I don't know. My fucking internet's fucked today. I don't know. Bullshit.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, get him Skeletor.
Skeletor. Yeah. In that case, we'll log off into because my laptop's been a piece of crap. Never buy anything by Lenovo. They fucking blow dead bears.
Blow dead bears, not live ones. Dead.
No, they're gonna be dead. That's the Canadian way.
Yeah.
Or as other people know it, the 51st state. You're welcome.
Not in this lifetime. Ginger
Come
boy.
on, you'll love it down here.
Only if you can get me a nice expensive condo in Miami. Otherwise, no. No dice.
I don't know if you really want to live in Florida. It sounds nice on TV and movies. It's really not in real life. Tell them, John.
Well, I know I've been to Miami, and Miami's like my favorite place I've been to. So.
All I know is I didn't go south enough because it was 45 degrees last week, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I was like,
it's either that or hurricanes.
Hey,
wet.
I lucked out with the hurricane this year. I did. I mean, I know you.
I didn't, and I live in the goddamn mountains.
I am sorry. Yes, but it went that way. Like Panama City beaches this way. It went.
Goddamn hurricane inland. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Is anyone looking forward to the new Spartacus series coming this fall?
No, it's not the Asher guy.
There's another one?
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of them.
The guy that plays Asher from the original.
I quit watching after the one dude died or something.
Well, yeah. Don't worry about it.
The one fellow had cancer, and then
I never watched it again after that. I liked his.
Yeah,
but I quit. Yeah.
I don't have that much time to watch TV shows. For some reason, I don't really get into them. I mean, I'm on the final season of Breaking Bad just now. I've been watching that for like a year. It's like all on Netflix, but it's just trying to sit down and do it because like I'm trying to watch movies, I'm trying to write stuff for the site, do live streams, and do my day job and wherever else. And it just sort of gets overwhelming. But I think I've got like 7 or 8 episodes of Breaking Bad, so I want to finish that next couple of weeks. I'm going to finish an episode now. Skylar really is a pain in the arse.
That's the wife? Yeah, she's trash.
Yeah. Oh my
God. I can't stand her.
Yeah, I'm just like, here, Walter, just...
I hated her immediately. I was on to her.
She was always annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, she sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway. Walter was a hero, anyways. To me, at least.
Anyway, yeah, so next week we will be discussing is Marked for Death Steven Seagal's best film. So check in for that. And this should be...
is that one underrated? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, everyone sort of dumps themselves.
I think we should call it Is Marked for Death a Film?
Yeah, that's the thing. So, all right, and we will see you then. So if you are watching, remember, you are the action elite.